Hello, everyone, and welcome to OPA. Welcome to our 94th free webinar titled PowerBI Kickstart Build Your First Dashboard. This is Adel Tahir, OPA Business Developer, and I'll be the moderator of today's webinar, presented by our special instructor engineer Osama Osman, who is a Microsoft certified Power BI data analyst. He is also a former petroleum engineer who turned it into a data analytics professional. He brings years of experience in data analytics and machine learning. His career has been dedicated to developing innovative data solutions that empower stakeholders to make informed and data-driven decisions. He has had the privilege of working for esteemed organizations such as ISRI, North Africa, and currently serve as a data science professional at Giza Systems. Over the years, he has also delivered impactful solutions for globally recognized entities, including United Nations, World Food Programme, Egyptian Ministry of Education, Egyptian Ministry of Mass Communication and Information Technology, Egyptian Information Decision and Support Center, and Saudi government. Before we jump into our session, I'll make a small presentation about OPA upcoming service and plan. We have conducted 2 waves of live courses in November with 7 courses. We started with Advanced Practical Reservoir Simulation, OSHA General Industry. We will also conduct Power BI in Oil and Gas, which will be conducted by the same instructor of today's webinar, Engineer Osama, and Cold Tubing Operations, Carbonate Reservoir Modeling, and PCB Design Operations and Troubleshooting. And finally, we will end our wave with NMR interpretation and theory in February. Our live courses are very interactive. You will get lifetime access for course recordings. You will be added to WhatsApp technical groups for course discussions and inquiries even after the course ends. And you will have the privilege to verify your certificates via our website. Here are our list of courses with prices. And you can scan this QR code to register or simply contact us through our social media. Here's our wave special package discount. You can buy 3 courses and get 4 for free and save $480. We have conducted more than 45 live courses, which is now available in sales as recordings of live in different bundles like reservoir engineering, rig and rigless operations, production technology, G&G, and data analytics and safety. You can scan this QR code to register. Let me make it available to see this the QR code. You can scan this QR code now to register or simply contact us. Here is one of our services, which is OPA Mentorship. It's a one-to-one mentoring session by highly experienced mentors. It's like a program based on the mentee's needs. You can request how to practice on a software. We can guide you on your personal data. We also the request can include professional guiding for PhD and master. We also help undergrad students in their projects. We have completed more than 45 mentorship programs with more than 900 learning hours, and the mentees were from 8 different countries. You can scan this QR code to register. Here's a glance of our website. It's www.opacourses.com, where you can access everything of our every service of our services, like watching our recorded courses, register on webinars, register for internship, register for a mentorship, anything, you can access it through our website. And finally, how to be an OPA ambassador. There are two tracks to join. Take one or more courses or take a mentorship program. So you may be asking yourself now, what will I get from being an OPA ambassador? You will get discount on all courses in the future and group discounts when you get your friends with you. Thank you for listening, and now it's time for our presentation. Engineer Osama, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you, Adel, for this great introduction. Please let me share my screen and please allow me to know when you can see it. Okay.
Okay. Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thanks. Let me get this here. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm very pleased to meet you all today in this webinar speaking about Power BI and how we can use it to utilize, to explore, analyze, and visualize our data more efficiently. I hope you will find it fruitful and you will enjoy it. Our agenda today, okay, it's not moving. Let me check. Okay. At our webinar today, we will go through some concepts about data visualization in general, why it is important. We will also have a look on some examples on how to make effective visuals and how some visuals may give a deceiving message. Then we will get an overview about Power BI as a data visualization tool. We will see its different components. We will have a quick comparison between Power BI and Excel from a data analytics and reporting perspective. But first, let's start talking about data visualization. Data visualization can be defined as a graphical representation of data using visual elements. These elements can include numbers, charts, graphs, or maps. Stakeholders rely on data visuals as a main component in the data-driven decision-making process. These visuals help them answer vital questions to the business continuity. These questions can include what are our current situation, are we making profits? Are we making loss? How can we reduce our costs? How can we enhance our processes? What are the sections that are most profitable to the company? These visuals can be used to support and monitor the daily operations, like monitoring the well production rate, pressure gauges in real time, or can be used for ad hoc requests to answer certain business questions. Why is data visualization important? As we all know, there have been evolution in the volume of data that's being generated in the recent years, with lots of data sources varying from logs, sensors, gauges, even security cameras. It has been impossible to have enough time to review all the incoming data in a traditional way. There was a need for tools to support us visualizing and analyzing large amounts and large volumes of coming data from different resources and come up with only pieces of information that are interesting. For example, if we are interested in looking at oil prices over the past year, it can be very challenging to read an entire spreadsheet with daily prices. You will barely come out with any findings, but if you had a line chart like the one we see in the picture, it's very easy to see the trend in the prices, whether it's moving in an upward or a downward trend. Where are the peaks? What are the cycle? How much duration does it take to change from an upward trend to a downward one? And that's because tables interact with our verbal system, while charts and graphs interact with our visual one. This makes them much easier for us to read and much intuitive for us to understand. So we can reach a conclusion that a good chart is the one that's easy and quick to understand without feeling overwhelmed. Okay. Building on top of that, let's take an example for one of the charts that I'm sure everybody have seen, have seen charts similar to this one before, and most of us, including myself, have made to represent their data. The example chart here is made by, for example, the IT department at your company to show a comparison between the ticket they have received and the ticket they have already processed over the past year. What do you think about this visual? Can you tell what are the insights that it's trying to tell? Take a moment to like think about it. Can you come out with any findings? I bet that you come up with any interesting idea. I'm sure some of you may have already lost interest and stopped thinking. It's not their mistake. The chart has too much details that will make anyone confused. What if we made a simple fix and changes the chart type here from a bar chart to a line chart? I think now we can easily find out that until May, the IT department was able to handle all the received tickets. Then there is a diversion that has occurred, resulting in some unprocessed tickets. The head of IT department can use this chart to convince the managers to approve the hiring of new employees to help close the gap that may occur due to having some of the employees who has already left in May without replacement, which has caused this divergence to occur. Another interesting example here is the one here is that the one that we can see in this slide. It's also very familiar and similar to the one that we have seen in our everyday life. Imagine that there was a survey before this webinar to ask the attendees how much they feel interested in Power BI. Then after the webinar, all the attendees were requested to fill the seminar again to compare their answers before and after. The two pie charts here show the answers before and after the seminar. Can you tell me any insights you find? Although the pie chart is simple and the graph has less details than the previous one, but using pie charts to do a comparison isn't very easy to understand for us, and we need to keep looking back and forward to compare different sections. What if we made a simple adjustment here and draw different categories as bars with each category divided into before and after using different colors for each? I think now it's easy to catch that nearly the number of attendees who were excited before the webinar has doubled. And most of them may have felt okay before the webinar and switched their opinions from okay to excited. That may be the reason for this increase. What about this one here from Fox News? It was advertised in fall 2012 to show the comparison between the current situation and the proposed tax values in 2013, which highlight the tax increase here. I think this is a simple graph, but simple graphs aren't always good because although it's simple, but it's somehow deceiving. I can tell from the graph here that the tax values may have gone 5 times larger or are proposed to go 5 times larger than its value today. While when we have a second look, we will see that it only has increased by nearly 30%. The reason for that is that our eyes always assume that all graphs have y-axis starting from 0. The original graph, the one on the left, didn't have the y-axis starting from 0. It was starting from 34%. So when we compare the different in heights, it gives a deceiving message about the increase in taxes. Putting both tax values on a 0 base highlight the true percentage of increase. Now that we have gone through these examples and concepts of data visualization, why it is important, and how to choose an effective visual, we will move to the next section regarding the tools for data visualization. There are different tools for data visualization, including Excel, that we use in our everyday work. We can use Excel to explore data, build graphs. In the webinar today, we will be using Power BI. We will do a quick comparison between Power BI and Excel. Power BI is a Microsoft product designed as a data intelligence tool to help you explore and analyze and visualize your data and represent your output in the form of reports or dashboards. It has several components. The first, the desktop application. That's where you can import your data, analyze it, build your reports and dashboards. It's free. You can download it from Microsoft stores or from the website. You don't need a license to use it, and this is the one we will be using in our demo today. Then the Power BI service, and this acts as the server for publishing and sharing your reports to share them with others without requiring them to have Power BI installed on their PCs. It can be a cloud service from Microsoft, or you can have it hosted on your own infrastructure. You can host your own Power BI report server, and this component requires a license. The third component is Power BI mobile application. This is a mobile app that allows you to access the reports that you have published on Power BI server. A quick comparison between Power BI and Excel. With Power BI built as a data visualization and data analysis as its core functionality, this makes it superior to tools like Excel in terms of scalability. We can find sorry for that. We can find Excel suffers when the data size is large. It starts freezing. It even has a limit of nearly 1 million rows, but Power BI doesn't have this limitation. It can handle large amount of data efficiently. Also, in Excel, it gives you little interactivity with your data. You can use slicers, but Power BI gives much more options to build interactive dashboard with interesting options like drill downs. Power BI also can connect to data from different sources and offer you a wide range of data integration with different data sources, much more than Excel. It also has built-in capabilities for data refresh so that changes in your data automatically are reflected in your published reports. It gives you also more options to share and collaborate with others. Share your reports and dashboards, allow them to access it with security at the raw level of the data so that you can ensure that everyone can only get access to the data that he is authorized to see. Okay, now we can move to Power BI to go through a quick demo. We will be building a simple dashboard that like the one that we see here in the screenshot. Okay. Let me switch my screen. Okay. First, let's go to Excel to view our data. I need to give you a little overview about the data that we will be using. The data simulates daily production data from oil wells. We have here the well ID. It's the identifier for the well. We have here the date that it's on the daily level. So each day will be represented with a single row here. The total volume of fluids produced and the water cut, the API gravity, sulfur content, and production type. Here in wells, here we have the data of our wells. We have the well ID, we have the reservoir that the well belongs to, we have the drilling cost, let's say the total cost of the well. We have dates like the spot date and the first production date. And for the reservoir data, we have like 3 reservoirs, for example. With each, we have characteristics like the area, the height, the porosity, the water saturation, and the formation factor. Okay, moving to Power BI. Let's see how we can build a dashboard like the one that we have seen. Okay, I need to move this and go to a fresh one here. Okay. For the sake of time, I have like imported the data into my Power BI here. We can see it. We can also see it in a view like the one we have seen in Excel from the table view here. We have our three tables, the production data, similar to the one that we have seen in Excel. Then the reservoirs data, it's similar to the one that we have seen, and the wells as well. Okay. Importing data to Excel to Power BI is very simple. We can get data here from the Get Data button here. We have different connectors. If we are, for example, reading this data from an Excel file or a CSV file, let's say our data resides in an Excel file that like the one that we have seen, we can simply select the Excel file here, and the data will be available for us to use directly. Okay. Having this data, let's see how we can like build a dashboard like the one that we have seen. Let's start building our first visual. Let's say that we need to have to display the number of reservoirs that we have. Having different reservoirs here, I can simply count the reservoir ID. This will give me the number of the reservoirs that we have. All I have to do is to select the column here that I want. I can leave this one. We can do the same functionality from different. It will like print a simple table of the reservoir IDs, but I don't want a table. I need the count from the little like drop down menu here. I can move to the count. This will give me the count of reservoir IDs. I don't need a table. I need a card. I just click here. It will give me a simple card that shows the number of the reservoirs that we have. I can like resize it, adjust it, make any changes I want, and I can rename it. Let's say we will call it reservoirs. That's great. We have our first card. Okay, we can leave it here. Let's do the same for the wells. We need to count the number of wells. How many wells do we have? We'll do the same. I can simply like copy this. It will give me a new card, and I can drag the well ID instead of the reservoirs, and I say I need the count. It will give me the number of the wells. So here I have 3 reservoirs and 895 wells. Okay. Let's see how much does it cost us, or did it cost us to drill this 895 wells. At each well, we have the drilling cost here. We can have the drilling cost and say we need a card as well. It will automatically like give me suggestion of the type of aggregation that we can do on this field based on its data type. It automatically like calculated the sum. If I click the drop down, I see that the sum is automatically chosen. I will be like only changing its name to expenses. And if I need, we have seen here that it doesn't show any decimal numbers. If I want to show some decimal numbers, all I need to do is to click on the column name. The ribbon here will show up, and it will show me how many decimal places that I want to show. I'll show 1 decimal places or 2 decimal places for the number to be more like clear for us. Okay. Now I need to know the profit. If I want to know how much did we earn from drilling these wells, we'll go to the production data. I have like the daily volume of production, and I can use the daily volume of production to calculate the overall sum of like produced oil, and then multiply by a certain price. Then we can get the overall profit that we have gained. But first, let's calculate the oil, the volume of the oil that we have produced so far. We have here the total volume. but there is a water cut, so we need to calculate a new column like we do in Excel. Here, if we have production data, I have the total volume, I have the water cut, so I can like calculate a new column to calculate the oil produced. I come here and say I need a new column. From the new column, I will call it oil produced. It's very simple, like Excel. Okay, let's say oil volume. It will be the total volume multiplied by 1 minus our water cut. It automatically detects our like column names. If I say okay. Okay, sorry for that. This should be 100 because we have here. Okay. Now I have a new column. It is the oil volume. I can use it directly. I need now to calculate. Now having this information, I need to calculate the overall oil that we have produced. I can like have the sum here directly, like that we have made. Two. Now we have the total oil produced. Okay. Having the oil produced here, we need to calculate how much money did we sell this oil for. Let's say we have sold this oil for a selling price of 65. I'll add a new table here to add a constant from the modeling. I'll choose a new table and I will call it constants. We have a simple table here. It doesn't have anything. I can add a new constant by simply adding a new measure. It's called measure. Okay. I will call my measure or my constant the selling price. I'd say we have like sold on an average price of $65. Having the oil produced and the selling price, we can calculate a new measure. It will be the total revenue. It can be, if I need to calculate the total revenue, I need to sum from the production data. I need to sum the oil volume and then multiply it by my measure, which is the selling price. This is the total revenue. If I need to calculate like the net profit, the total revenue minus expenses, I can simply we will call it the net profit. It will be our total revenue minus our expenses. We don't have the expenses ready, so we need to sum from the wells. We need to sum the training costs. So we have the profit here. Can simply take the expenses as card here as copy, and then it shows the selling price. Sorry, choose the net profit instead of the expenses. Okay, here in trillions, but I need to change this. Let's say I need to show 1,000 separators and show up to, okay, to decimal places, fine. Okay, having our net profit and our expenses, we can calculate a new metric like the return on investment. We can simply add a new measure. That would be ROI, would be our net profit minus divided by, sorry, the total expenses, which is the sum of wells from the wells draining costs. And we can display it as a card here. And I can say this is a percentage. Okay. We have seen that we are making like huge return investment. This is typically a dummy data, so there's guarantee about the results that we can get. Let's say we need also to add 1,000 separators here. Okay. We will arrange all this, but let's like first put all the bytes, the bytes together, and then we start arranging them. Okay, now we have all the numbers here. Okay, that's fine. Now let's add a chart. Let's say that we need to monitor our daily production of oil to see how much we produce every day. Like a line chart that shows us the trend. It's very simple. I need to add the line chart. All I need to do is to click on the visual here. This is the line chart, and then it will tell me what the x-axis should be, what the y-axis should be, and if I have a secondary y-axis, what it is. And let's add our data here in the x-axis. It should be the date. I'll choose the date and add the x-axis, and then on the y-axis I will choose to add our oil volume. It will give me a simple graph of how much oil did we produce every day, every year, and then we can drill through different levels from the bottom here. This allow me to drill up or drill down to different levels. Here I can see the years. If I click here, I can move to like show data quarterly. If I click again, it will show data bi-monthly on a monthly level, or each record here will represent maybe a month or a quarter. Okay. We also here in the production data, we have a column here for the production type. Has 3 categories. Either the well is producing this day, this very day, using ESP or a natural flow or a sucker rod. We can show how much oil that we have produced of each type. I'll copy this and simply change its type to clustered graph here, and then I remove the date from the x-axis. I need to add to the x-axis. I need to add the production type and the oil volume. now we can see the different amount that we have reduced using every category. Okay, now let's start cleaning this up. Okay, we will first go here. I need to clean this up a little, give it a nice representation. If we get here, we can find our columns, we can change its colors. Okay, let's change the column color here. I have the color ready somewhere. Okay, and then let's add labels to the data directly. Let's say that we need to add labels. From here, I can see like different configurations I can do to my visual. Okay, under the data labels, it will show me what are the data labels that I need to see. I will see the amount of oil I have produced. Let's change the value. We can give it a different font, and we can to make it like more clear. We can give it a background. We can change the background color and increase its transparency. And here we can give it color. And then let's say we need to display them in millions, or billions is fine. Okay. And we need to okay. Now that we have our labels, we don't need the x-axis anymore. It's redundant. I can read the graph directly from here. So I can remove the y label, so the y-axis, sorry, and the grid lines to make it clear. And I can go back to here. I can change the title. I can call it something more descriptive, like production amount in different I can like center it. This is fine. I can make the labels a bit larger to be more clear. Okay, that's fine. And also we can use the same color that we have used in here in the line. From the lines, I can see the lines that I have. Okay, I can change its color from the effects here. Okay. I don't want to show serious labels. I just want to change the line color over from line and the color. I can choose the color I want. And from the y-axis, I can also change the font and increase it a little. Okay, it's fine. I can also change its title. Let's call it daily fail production. And we can center it. And we can give it a little space here. Okay. let's say that we want to arrange the cards here. I can simply change its place. Okay, I can click on any card. Let's say that I want to give it a height of 80 and a width of 120, and I can like give it smaller font of 24. We have our net profit here, and we can do the same to expenses. We can change it to 80, 120, and let's position it at 59, 230. Okay, and we can add this. We can change the position of this here to be aligned with. I like 259 and 130. That's great. And for the ROI, I also need to make it, I need to move it a bit. Let's say we move it here and give it a little, okay. And give it smaller size of 100 and 200, and we can also give it smaller size. That's fine. For the same thing, we can go to the oil produced and do the same. I need to change the font to be a little smaller. It's 79 and 110. This is 80, and I need to position it at 600, 133. This is like you can keep trying for positions, but I'm saving the position before the session, so I'm just writing them down to arrange this. Okay, and for the reservoirs, let's like add them here, and 130. Here we can also put here 180 and position it somewhere that might be okay. I needed to move a little bit down, and let's move it here. That's fine. Yeah. We need to change the down value to 24, and also now let's add a new card. Okay, and place it here. 80, 100, and 607, and 2, 3. Okay. Now let's say that I want to calculate, instead of the oil produced, I need to calculate the overall reserves that we have. How much reserves do we have? Okay. Let's say I'll calculate the reserves. So I go to the reservoir. From the reservoir, I have the area. I have the area, I have the height, I have the porosity, I have the water saturation, and I have the formation factor. From this information, I can easily calculate the reserves. Let's say that I will calculate a new measure. I'll call it stock tank oil in place. We will add our equation that we all know. Correct me if I'm wrong. 7758 multiplied by the reservoir area. Reservoirs. Okay. Reservoirs area. Okay, now it's not getting it. Okay. Something. Let's see. Place. Icon. Okay, let's go back here. View. 7758. Voice. I'll choose the area and acres, and then multiply by the reservoirs. The height. I'm not sure why it's not getting the name of the table. Let's take it. Station. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry for that. That's not a measure. It's we will need first to add it as a new column because we have different reservoirs. We will call it stock tank oil in place for each reservoir. It will be 75 multiplied by reservoir in acres multiplied by the reservoir height multiplied by the reservoir porosity multiplied by 1, and this will be 100. Let's say how much the water saturation is calculated, whether it's calculated in 1 or 100 terms. This should be divided by the reservoir formation factor. Let's check our brackets. Okay, it's fine. I need to check on the data first. Yes, the water saturation, it's 0.245, so it's fine to have it. Okay. Thus, we have calculated the stock tank oil in place, and then we can simply calculate the sum of all reservoirs that we have in a simple measure here. So the difference between a column and a measure is that a column is calculated at at the level of each row, but a measure is calculated over the entire scope of the table. We can change this from the oil produced to the measure that we have chosen. It is a stock tank oil base. Unfortunately, this is dummy data, so we have maybe produced more than we have in stock actually, but this is because the data isn't very accurate. Okay, we need also we can also calculate like a different measure, like if we want to calculate the average API of our reduced oil, how much on average our API or the quality of our API. We can add if we go to the production data here, we have a column for the API gravity, but we can't like take the average directly because we need to calculate the average and like give it a weight of how much volume is produced with this quality. So we need to first multiply the oil produced by its gravity, then divide by the total oil amount of oil produced. So we'll go here and add a new column. Let's call it API gravity weighted. It will be the production API gravity multiplied by production oil volume. Now we can sum this and divide it by the entire oil volume. This will give us our API gravity. This can be a single measure. We will call it the mean gravity. It will be sum of from the production data. I need the weighted API gravity, and then I think we have the oil produced. We have the oil volume. We can sum the oil volume. Going back to our data view, we can copy this and place it here. We can go to the mean gravity. We can simply add it here. This will give us our mean gravity. We can call it an API. We can add a new card here. Similarly, if we want using the API gravity, as we calculated the API gravity, we can do the same to calculate something like sulfur content. We can like give it the weight compared to the current like production or the production from each day, how much sulfur that contained, and get the weighted average out of all production data that we have. Okay, but let's save time. We will not do the calculation again. And let's say we want to add a new card that can represent our average daily production. To find the average daily production, we need to sum the entire volume that we have produced and multiply it by the number of days. So we can have the the average daily production. To get the number of days, we have a date table here. It has it's a sequence, one record for each day. It's a sequence. It's a very simple table. If I like sort it. It's starting from the 31st of January till today. It's very simple. I can count the number of these days. Let's say I'll add a new measure. I call it number of days. It will count from the date table. It will count the date. And here I have the volume of oil. Okay, was horizontal. I need to add, take this as a copy, and like paste here, and maybe give it a larger font with this, and then start adding our average daily production. Let's say a new measure. I call it average daily production. It would be the sum of from the production data. I need to take the oil volume and then divide this by the number of days. And then here I need to change this to the average daily production. Okay, that's fine. We can, let's say that we need to insert a header here. I can simply like add, sorry, from the insert button here, I can add shapes. I can choose I can go to style, can change its color. And let's say that I want to add a title, and I can add a box here and call it demo dashboard. And I can move it to here. I need to give it some larger space and position it in the center. Now I need to increase the font size. Let's say to 40 or 40. Okay, fine. Now which is this. Now, first I need to change this to white to appear on the black background. Then I need to remove the background. Now I have my title dashboard here. Similarly, we can add background to each of these cards as we have done here. We can like create a simple box, add it like behind each one of these cards to give it like to give it a good visual like the one that we have seen in the presentation. That's fine. Oh, okay, let's add a slicer to show how we can interact with the dashboard. We can add different slicers, but let's say we need to add the filter, the ability to filter with different reservoirs. I need to view the dashboard given a certain reservoir. Simply, I can select the filter visual from here. It will give me an area to add my filter. I can add it here. Then I can choose the field that I want to filter by. Let's say from the reservoirs, I need to filter by the reservoir ID. It will give me the ability to choose a certain reservoir. It can be like checkbox like this, and it filters the entire dashboard automatically. Or from the slicer settings, I can let it as a draw-down menu. I can select also multiple reservoirs. I can add an option to select all, and I can place it here or I can place them on the top of the head of the dashboard. I think we have nearly reached a good point. Having our first dashboard, we can with a little tweak we can enhance the dashboard more by like adjusting the colors and the places and with little coordination. But because we are running out of time, I think we can go directly to the presentation to finalize our webinar. Okay, just if we added a little backgrounds, we can reach the final dashboard as shown here. Now, thanks for everybody. That's time to receive your questions. If you have any question, I'd be more happy to support you.
Thank you, Engineer Sama, for this fruitful webinar. It was really great. We will have a 2 minutes break to fill in this feedback form that I will send in the chat box right now. And then we can receive your questions about the webinar. Thank you again, Engineer Sam.
You're welcome.
I think there was a problem with the link. It was private, so I opened it now. You can open it again. You can access the feedback link now. Okay, I think it's time for our questions. Our first question from Ahmadu, how to connect real-time data to Power BI?
Okay, actually, having a real-time data source, if we are speaking about sensors, IoT device, or something like that, we will not be connecting Power BI to the device directly, but these devices should be sending their real-time or streaming data to a server. The server may be a cloud server. Then we will be connecting to Power BI. We will be connecting the Power BI to the streaming server that our sensors or our IoT devices are sending data to. This will depend on the nature of the IoT device and what IoT server that we are using. But almost all IoT servers can connect to Power BI seamlessly.
Okay, thank you. I have a question in private. How to add the image on the background, like you have made in the dashboard?
Okay, sure. It's very simple as we have in from the insert menu here. As we can insert a text box, a shape, we can also insert an image. We can choose our icon. If we need, let's say, we want to add our web here, it will appear to me. I can like resize it and add it here. It's very simple.
Okay, thank you. So any more questions? We have a question from Engineer Muhammad. Could we get a summary of our trend?
Actually, I can't get the question. What do you mean by trend? Do you mean if we are visualizing a time series data and we want to see the trends, or what?
Engineer Muhammad, I have unmuted
Okay,
you. You can speak if you want.
okay, okay. I will speak. It's better to speak and get the point. First of all, I'd like to thank you all, OBA and team and the instructor Osama, for this valuable Power BI. My question actually, what we have in demo dashboard that you have already made it, the trend of the oil volume, the yearly oil volume. Can we get
Okay.
the summary for this trend, for example, and give me the summary in the textbook, for example, for this trend?
Okay, like can I ask Power BI to describe the trend found in the data?
Yeah, exactly. And if also get the Power BI to give like the small size for the data that we have. I mean, we can use the Copilot tool for I mean, analyze the data that we have in the trend, or I don't know. I just I
Yeah,
have this question in my mind if we could use
yeah.
this tool.
Of course, yeah, yes, exactly. I can see what you mean. Actually, if we go deep here in the insights bar, we can
Okay.
add like different we can find different configurations or different options that allow us to discover like important findings in our data. Let's say if we want to find like if we add a trend line, it will actually be something like I don't recommend use it here because first let's go to the okay. This is not on the level of daily level. We have very large volume of data. It's almost okay. We can add like if we go here. Okay, so for that, I need to limit this a little. Okay. Actually, we have here different options. We have here the trend line option, we have here the forecast option, and we have here the anomalies option. But all these values will like depend on the level that we are using. If we are looking at the data at the daily levels, this will differ from if we are looking at on a yearly level or a monthly or a monthly level. We can notice, like, if we have seen the data in the past 10 years, we can see an upward trend. But if we like changed the level that we are seeing the data from the year level to the daily level, we can see like a downward trend, even if there's an upward trend on the yearly level. Let's say the prices are going up from 1 year to another, but at the last year it's going down from like yesterday to today. We will be like over the past week, for example, the prices may be going down. So the trend changes. So we need first to determine the level that we need to see our data. Here the data are on the daily level. So we can, like, if we want to see the trend, we will need to aggregate it on the level that we want to see, and we can use different like options here to like maybe give us forecast on how the trend is going on, and whether it's going up, going down, and it will give us the forecasting based on like intervals. What are the minimum expected value? What are the maximum expected value? And what is the average expected value? But actually, using Power BI for this, it is not like very optimized for this, because trying to forecast is a different aspect. It is mainly a machine learning aspect. We can use more sophisticated models to do the forecasting. But I don't believe that like tools like or LLMs like Copilot can do the forecasting. It may be good to forecast the data if at the tabular level. Actually, I haven't tried to use Copilot directly to interpret time series data, but it may describe well the historical data, but it will not be ever good at forecasting what's going to how it's going to perform in the future. And if it gives you info about this, I wouldn't rely on it. That you should be building like separate models to forecast the values in the future. These models should be like white boxes to you. You should be able to understand if it is given like a certain value, a certain forecasted value. You should be able to know why. It should be explainable. That's like a whole new topic about explainable AI, and how we can like let the machine learning models be open books, and to be able to say like if they have given us a certain result, why it's giving this specific results, what are the factors, because these factors may be changing from one day to another.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I have in front of me one of my examples that I have done. If you just could right click on your trend.
Okay. Do you mean
Yeah,
here? Okay.
No, on the trend itself. I mean the visual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The visual. Okay.
Right click.
Okay. Sure.
See, if you go down, there is summarize.
Okay.
At the end. Yeah. This box, it appears to me here, and it gave me something that, I mean, actually I couldn't understand, but actually it gave me some answers of my question. If you click on the Copilot or
Actually,
custom,
this
you
would require you
will,
to connect.
yeah, or custom
Yeah.
If
Okay.
it will give you some summarize of your data. I mean, it going up and down, and the percentage of the increment.
Okay, that's great. Actually,
Yeah,
that's fine. Maybe.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
what appears to me here.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. But yeah, this is for me. This is the first time to try this, and this is good to have. But as I said, Copilot or any LLM can be good at describing the historical data, but you can't like rely on them to predict what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
You should review this output very well and be careful when using
yeah,
it.
yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Anju Muhammad, for this question, and thank you, Anju Muhammad, for answering. We have a raise hand from Peace.
Okay, sure.
Engineer Peace, I have unmuted you if you want to speak.
Hello, can you
Hello.
hear me? Hello, thank you, sir, for the lecture, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you for the wonderful lecture, sir. I
You're
just have
welcome.
a few questions to ask us
Sure.
regarding the lecture for today. One of the question is that looking at the visualization of the data given to us, now, how do you choose what determine the element to be used when it comes to the interpretation of this data using visualization of Power BI? Because now I can see a bar chart and a line chart. Looking at this visualization aspect of it, there are other elements that can be used. So, what determine the best element to be used to visualize a set of data? And the other question, hello?
Yes, I get you. First, about the first question, just to make sure that I understand you correctly, are you asking about the how do we choose a certain visual?
Yeah,
Like why did we choose the bar chart here? Why did we choose the line chart here? Like,
yes. Is it possible to use pictograph or histogram and so on?
okay, great.
Which that can be used.
Okay, great. And then the second question?
The second question is about cleaning, data cleaning and filtering, because I didn't really see where you imported the data, the raw information from, because
Okay,
I was that during this the process of using Power BI, this data can be cleaned and can be filtered depending on your information that is needed at that particular point in time. So I want you to throw light on that aspect of data cleaning and the filtering.
okay, of
Thank you.
course. Of course. Actually, for the second question, I start answering the second question first. For the second question, we have like prepared this data for the sake of the demo before importing it to Power BI. So we expect it to be clean, ready for analysis. But this is not always the case. As you have mentioned, there is a lot of data processing and the cleansing that we need to do before going directly to building dashboard. And Power BI can help you through this process. You can like build your data models very efficiently on Power BI and build a model that like transforms your data from its source format to a format ready for analysis. This can be done on Power BI, and this will be going into its details through the Power BI course that we will conduct in the next week, inshallah. But for the sake of the demo, there wasn't like enough time to go through all these capabilities. That's why we focused on the on like building the dashboard itself to give like everyone an intuition on how to use Power BI and what can be done with Power BI. But we will go through all the details of data cleansing in our Power BI course, of course. And regarding the first question of how to choose the right visual or how to choose like whether histogram, a bar chart, a line chart,
Yes.
this totally depends on like the sorry for that, depends on the nature of the variables. We can like categorize our variables to different like level of measurements, and given each level of measurement, we can like choose the right visual. Here, for example, we have the production type. We can say it's a categorical variable, a variable that takes a value from certain choices. It can be a natural flow, it can be an SP, it can be a saccharode. We can call this a categorical variable. And the other variable we are comparing this with is the amount of production, which is numeric. When we have a numeric variable and a categorical variable, and we want to build a graph, it would be a good option to choose something like the bar graph. But if we have like two different numerical variables, let's say like the production amount or produced oil, and on the other hand, we have something like the amount of water injected, for example, they are two numerical variables, then it will not be a good option to choose the bar chart here. It would be more convenient to choose another chart like the scatter plot for example. These actually we have different or like various amount of charts here we can choose from, and all depends on the type of the data that we're trying to visualize and the message that we're trying to convey or find out. And and of course we'll go through this with much detail also in the course that will be delivered next week, inshallah. But for the sake of the demo, we didn't have that much time to explain this in more detail.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Engineer Sama, for answering. So, any more questions before we end up our sessions?
Thank you, Adlan. Thanks, everybody. I really enjoyed this webinar and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think this is all for today. So thank you again, Engineer Sama, for this fruitful webinar, and thank you all for attending. Someone was asking about the material. I'll make sure to ask Engineer Sama for the material to share it on our WhatsApp group, on the webinar WhatsApp group. Thank you again, and see you soon in our next webinars.
Thank you, sir.
I've sent the WhatsApp link on the chat box.